right, guys, this is my workhorse. This is actually the first workhorse that was made, and it's a little bit different than the production ones that sold. We've got some different handle materials and some very slightly different grinds. However, I am here to talk to you about the handle design. There's been a little bit of confusion, and I've got a few options on this handle that you're not going to see elsewhere. And so I wanted to do a little bit of an update video because I am behind schedule on getting these knives to you guys. With Kydex, we were supposed to have these out a long time ago, even with leather. A lot of stuff happened. I thank everybody for their pre-orders. We've gotten most of those out. And for the guys still waiting, it's going to be very, very soon. They are en route to my house, workhorses with custom Kydex from Black Bear Custom Kydex. So what I want to talk about here, we'll talk about the workhorse a little bit more when I get done with this, but we have a multi-position handle here. I designed this knife, I believe, in about 2013. I brought it to market under a Nepalese manufacturer, which was a mistake at the time. There were just a lot of manufacturing problems due to who was making them, right? And I decided for a fun collab with Bear Force Knives to bring this knife design back, but also to make it closer to a 1/2 inch thick than to a 1/4 inch. And so the handle here, depending on the size of your hands, of course, I have relatively narrow hands. I wear a large glove, long fingers, narrow hands, okay? And so I can choke down on this handle for chopping. I can choke up for regular use if I want to. I don't actually normally go right here in the middle. We have so we can use it without the thumb ramp and without the choil. If you use the choil, you go beyond the thumb ramp and hold it in this kind of a grip right here. I really like doing fine work with this knife in this position, believe it or not. What has been confusing for some is the jimping right here, and the idea right here was if you want to, you can put a lanyard here, a long lanyard, you can put that around your arm up at your elbow for extra control and hold it right here. And so with the grinds where they're at, especially for meat processing and stuff, if that's not what this knife is intended for, but if you're going to use it for that, when you hold it up here, this jimping right here locks into your hand and makes this a very comfortable way to use the knife, in my opinion. And it's just an extra tool in the bag to make such a big, absolute beefcake of a knife a little bit more versatile. This does not change this knife into a skinner. All right, I understand that. This does not make this knife a skinning knife, but for food prep and for other little chores, it can make it a little bit nicer than it would be otherwise. Then we have this jimping up here by the tip. This was an idea from my buddy Phil up in Canada. So check out his Instagram. It will be linked in the description box below. This is to catch your baton when you are splitting this knife through stuff, and it does transfer more of the energy from the baton into your blade and through that wood, as opposed to energy glancing off. It works great. Thanks, Phil, for the idea. I love it. We are thick enough and tough enough that I do not have any concerns for these tips, even with this jimping here. So that is kind of the layout for how this blade is designed. Now these are made in 1084. They are 0.391 of an inch thick. They are absolutely ridiculous. So I think it's important to note, and I have been transparent about this from the very beginning, I am not selling these knives to be the last survival knife that you ever need, to be any kind of crazy marketing thing that is what we have come to expect in the industry. This knife is a passion project, and primarily it is tailored for the person who is an absolute knife nerd, who probably has an entire closet filled with knives already, and who's looking for the thickest American-made hunk of chunk that they've ever seen, and who also appreciates a knife that is still going to be at least relatively practical to use. I actually really enjoy using this knife for feather sticks and for fire prep primarily. I can do some chopping, I can do some other stuff. I just enjoy using the knife, and that's what it's for. 1084 steel, very, very tough. Bear Forest Knives does a very tough heat treat and does a fantastic job on stuff. The production ones have vintage black and brown micarta from Pop's Knife Supply. They feature Corby bolts instead of pins. The tang is skeletonized. This thing is just an absolute beast chunker, but I'm not going to tell anybody that they need it, because the truth is, at nearly $600, nobody has a need for this knife. But if you're anything like me, you may very much have a want for this knife. So that's what we've got going on. I'll have quite a few of these available with custom kydex from Black Bear Custom Kydex. I expect that to come in tomorrow or Saturday. I only have 2 of these remaining with Spirit of the Bear design leather. Absolutely beautiful leather. So you can get in on this without the weight with the leather sheath if you like. If you get into it on the kydex, it will only be a few days before I get these out. I had to buy special boxes just for this run of knives because I had nothing to ship them in. Speaking of which, how many are there? There are 20 knives total, and one of them is mine. So we have 9 knives total with kydex sheaths, and we have had 10 knives total with leather. This is a very limited run. You will not see more of these knives manufactured by Bear Force Knives in this thickness. You probably won't ever see this design offered in this thickness again for any reason, because the industry standard for a thick knife is a 1/4 inch, and costs and work just goes up exponentially when you get up past a 1/4 inch. I think it's Loveless bolts that I bought at first. I'm a little dyslexic, so I might get them mixed up, but I bought the longest Loveless bolts that you could buy, or maybe it was the Corby's, and they weren't long enough, so I had to buy the other. I had to buy the Corby bolts, which are just barely long enough. You know, every step of this process, 3/8 inch thick handle material. I bought really expensive handle material, absolute premium sheaths, 0.391 stock thickness, a relatively high saber grind, an edge thickness that comes in at about 50 thou, which I think is about appropriate for the knife this size. They're a little bit thinner on the production ones, which means that it was just ground a little thinner, so they're still close to 50 thou behind the edge, but it is a shorter micro bevel, so you have a thinner bevel there. But this is a passion project. It's something that I did not necessarily to make money. Every step of this process, I just like throwing thousands of dollars out the door on making 20 knives. It is what it is, but if you want one, you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to get one. I don't see these popping up on the second-hand market because, I mean, let's be real. I sold, I believe, at least over 100 adventure crafts manufactured by Mineral Mountain Hatchet Works, and you rarely see those go up for sale. And when you do, I believe that they're quite expensive. They get snatched up right away, because even with over 100 of them, they're pretty rare. With 20 of these, it's just like the Super Kooks. If you didn't know, one of my original designs was the Super Kook, and they were manufactured by Dry Creek Forge when I was directly associated with them. And there are still guys who sold one and is constantly looking for another, or who waited to purchase one because we thought we were going to make more, and it just never happened. So it's a lot of money. It's not a need, but if you do want one, I would probably spring on it. Those are going to be at exodusknifeandtool.com. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, for exodusknifeandtool.com, while we are here, this will be the year of the mutant. I get asked at least weekly about when the mutants will get dropped. The mutant is a jackalope that's 25% larger, and it will be designed to be slightly more versatile as a full-size belt knife with some potential to be used as a combat knife. It will feature a fuller. It will be an A2 tool steel which is going to be new for my brand. And the first 25 of them are going to have some really crazy custom kydex and desert ironwood scales. They're going to be really, really special. It used to be that I'd have knives serialized and the first 25 knives wasn't a big deal. It's not the case so much anymore. 25 knives, now if I do a 25 knife run, that might disappear in 10 minutes on the website and never be seen again. So, we're growing, trying to do things right. I've got exciting stuff coming up. In the mail either today or tomorrow, I believe, I'll be receiving pink adventure crafts with blue G10 scales and clear kydex. I think I'm getting 15 of those. Those will disappear in a heartbeat. So we've got things going on. I'm going to try and keep everybody up to speed. If you're interested in Exodus Knife and Tool, I would encourage you to sign up for the blog at exodusknifeandtool.com. I like to slip limited use coupon codes and even freebies into the blog. I would also encourage you to subscribe to the email list. It's the most effective way to get information because social media just sucks and Instagram is just absolutely taking a crap on me. So that's all I've got for the moment, I think, but really excited stuff coming up this year. Also, we're going to have some Baker Forge billet adventure crafts made with an 80 CRV2 core clad in wrought iron forged from a ship's chain. We only have 3 of those with really, really fancy handle scales and stuff. So at least one of those will go for sale on auction. I think at this point, one of those will be given away at Blade Show Atlanta. So it's going to be an exciting year. I'm hoping to do some big things. I'm hoping to make things happen. Stick around. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed day.